You know, when I hear people talk about being coal miners or working in some just awful job, I always think of that job going, yeah, I experienced that for a time. And there's some people that have to do that their whole life, you know. And so that also put the work ethic in me for animation, where I just work like crazy because I pretend like it's manual labor. And
Right.
this is what rescues me from having to go back and do that kind of a job.
I'm a firm believer that everyone needs to work a job like that.
Yeah.
I worked some jobs growing up that, number one, I appreciate what God's given me at this point, but number two, I never want to go back to that.
Yeah. Yeah. And coming from the manual, I did a lot of I was a farm hand. I shoveled maggots one summer from under truck scales. That's what I assumed I would do my whole life and be an artist on my own. But really, I was developing like this kind of iron sense of that when someone pays you a certain amount per hour, you owe them work. And I was reading the scriptures also, where God was my true employer and he was watching me, you know, he was my employer and I wanted to do him proud. And one of the best days of my life was after that job, when that job wrapped up on those fat tanks. The boss of the entire feed mill, who was higher ranked than my dad at this chicken farm, this Foster Farms place, came to my dad and said, you know, your boy is a hard worker.
Hmm.
And he came home to me. And so here's this, you know, fruity, imbecile artist, you know, to my dad, who's like a army guy and just swings a hammer his whole life. And he sat me down and said that this is one of the best moments of like that. I'm so proud because I
Yeah.
know how terrible that job is and you killed it.
Hmm.
That I'll never forget that moment. It made me
Yeah.
feel maybe proud for the first time in my life. And no art award or game of the year can touch that moment where my dad, it's like he laid hands on me and just kind of everything was all right. And so
That's
that's kind of I take that with me. I didn't learn my work ethic from the art department. I learned it from swinging a hammer.